Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the Mikosi Amendment. I've been listening. I know that this is not a perfect amendment. I know that I've been here 13 years and have never seen a perfect bill on the floor. I have to tell you that if we don't vote for this amendment, though, I'm really afraid that we will have lost the chance for the next 10 years to pass a comprehensive bill to fund transportation. I really think it's that critical, and I really think it's a do-or-die moment for comprehensive transportation funding. Remember, a similar bill passed the Senate 45-5. That's an astonishingly bipartisan vote. In fact, it means that almost every member of the House has a senator who voted for a comprehensive transportation bill. It's been 15 years since the Pennsylvania General Assembly has had the courage to pass a bill that raises and spends enough money to take care of our transportation system, and we are well overdue. Back at home, Mr. Speaker, there's a little bridge on Gypsy Hill Road. When I was a girl, a long time ago, Gypsy Hill Road ran through farms, horse farms, pastures. Today, it actually serves as a gateway to several subdivisions of nice suburban homes with many families in them. Mr. Speaker, the Gypsy Hill Road Bridge has been rated unsafe to carry the Wissahickon Volunteer Fire Company's ladder truck. The ladder truck. Think about that. If one of my neighbors' houses is on fire, does that make a difference? The volunteer fire companies that serve my area are terrific people. They pride themselves on getting to a fire scene in 4 or 5 minutes, tops. And the local governments have supported them by putting substations and equipment at their disposal so that the volunteers can get there in 4 or 5 minutes. If the bridge on Gypsy Hill Road is out of service and it takes them 10 or 11 minutes to get to my neighbor's house when it's on fire, would it matter to you? It would matter to me. And it would matter to all of the people in the community I represent. There are bridges like that all over the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In fact, Pennsylvania leads the nation in structurally deficient bridges. We have 4,479 bridges that need work right now. There are 567 state bridges and 1,685 local bridges that have weight restrictions and might need work in the near future. And we would have even more bridges if we used Connecticut's system for rating them that are unsafe or rated unsafe for heavy vehicles like the volunteer fire company's ladder truck. These weight restrictions and deficient bridges are weighing down Pennsylvania's economy as well. Recently, the Wall Street Journal quoted executives from Armstrong Industries in Lancaster and Carpenter Technology Corp. In Wyomissing, with 6 plants in Pennsylvania in various locations, on a national story about not spending the money to fix bridges and how it adds time and costs for them to get their products to market. Perhaps it's because our business leaders recognize this that our chambers of commerce and other business groups are solidly behind a comprehensive transportation funding bill. They are solidly behind spending state dollars to repair our infrastructure. Montgomery County is home to American Infrastructure, one of the largest road builders in Pennsylvania. Today, American Infrastructure employs 1,800 people. In an industry hard hit by this recession, more than 1/5 of its workforce has been already laid off because they have no work to do. For this reason, not surprisingly, most labor groups favor this amendment as well. If a comprehensive transportation funding bill does not pass, thousands more jobs in Pennsylvania that pay very good wages will be lost. And these jobs are jobs, as I've been recently reminded, that absolutely cannot be shipped overseas. They stay here if there's money for them. Many years ago, Mr. Speaker, Gifford Pinchot had successfully run for governor on the promise of getting the farmers out of the mud. He won, spent money on paving Pennsylvania's dirt roads, and got people working during the Great Depression. This is a jobs bill. Thousands of jobs are dependent on a yes vote on this comprehensive funding plan. Even our rural industries understand how important it is to have good roads and bridges. The Pennsylvania Forest Products Association, the Pennsylvania Forestry Association, and the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau all support a comprehensive transportation funding bill, and they support its passage now, tonight. As the Forest Products Association recently put it in a letter to all of us here in the General Assembly, the deteriorating condition of the state's road and bridge infrastructure is having a direct, negative impact on the forest products industry, a major source of jobs in rural Pennsylvania. In order to get raw material to the mill and products to the market, logger and mills are required to negotiate a mounting litany of posted state routes and weight-restricted bridges. Increasingly, PennDOT's rural road network is insufficient to support even the minimal requirements of these traditional job providers, resulting in companies being subject to unanticipated and unreasonable damage expenses for normal road usage. And they won't be satisfied with a bridge-only bill. Here is what they said. To be clear, this is the Forest Products Association. It's not enough to focus on only the recently announced list of weight-restricted bridges. We need a transportation plan that also invests funds to address nearly 10,000 miles of roadway that are in poor condition. Investing in transportation infrastructure is a core function of government, and it is essential to Pennsylvania's economic growth and long-term prosperity. That argument, Mr. Speaker, is not confined to Pennsylvania's rural areas. Instead, in the heavily congested southeastern portion of the state, where nearly 40% of our citizens live and work, the argument that spending on our infrastructure is a necessity for our economy as well as our safety. Right now, Mr. Speaker, in Montgomery County, we are a net importer of commuters who come to my county to work. In fact, more people actually do a reverse commute from the city to the suburbs than the other way around. That means twice a day we need to move 60,000 people in and out of the city on mass transit. And this is only a small percentage of all the suburban commuters, because most of them drive their cars on our roads. Tens of thousands of them are already paying the tolls on the Pennsylvania Turnpike to get from Route 611 to King of Prussia to work. Or they use the northeast extension of the Turnpike and the Blue Route to get to work and to get home safely again. The time it takes people just to get around is a factor in our economy and in our lives. And in order to make the transportation system work, we need to have a whole system that is well-designed, efficient, with improved roads and bridges, and a functioning mass transit system to carry some of the load. And right now, while we stand in Harrisburg debating whether we really need to do this, there's a train running across a 100-year-old bridge on the Media Elwyn line in Delaware County. A 100-year-old bridge. It is suspended 40 feet above the Crum Creek. And here's the kicker. There are 3 such bridges on that line alone. Mr. Speaker, no one likes to vote for legislation that will raise gas prices on the people that we represent. And spending on infrastructure, if it works, doesn't even merit a headline. Nobody writes a headline or does an Action News story when a bridge does not fall down. However, if there's one thing we learned from Hurricane Katrina and what happened to New Orleans, it is this. If you wait till it starts raining to wonder whether you should have spent more money on the infrastructure and the levees, you have waited too long. You have to take care of it when it needs to be fixed. And that time is now. Now's the time to put the money into our highways, into our bridges, into our mass transit system, into our multimodal systems, and we cannot afford to wait. For those of us in Montgomery, Bucks, Delaware, Chester, or Philadelphia counties, we need a functioning transportation system that includes multimodal modes as well as mass transit. I urge a yes vote on the Mikosi Amendment, and I urge it tonight. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.